Take one.
Awesome.
Okay.
Go.
What do you think is so important about Piggy's specs? Why is it mentioned in the story so many times? What's its significance?
I think because it represents, well, they need it for the fire most of the time.
You can also look at it from a different perspective and kind of think of like goodness and evil, because everything was well once his glasses were together, but once they broke, everything started falling apart and they all became enemies.
I don't think
So it could contrast good and evil. Because
it's also like power. Because
It could also represent how they started on the island and how they ended up to be.
they didn't really they never really started off good. If you take notice on things,
That's true.
They never really started off good. Like there was always arguments, and then there was always
People
things going on.
taking sides.
It would always be between
Jack
and Ralph.
Yeah.
Jack wanted to take over the entire, everyone, while Ralph wanted to, he kind of wanted to do the same thing, but in a good way, as in being rescued, while Jack wanted to have fun and hunt and eat meat.
Yeah, it seems like he wants to stay there.
Yeah. I think like the representation of have you noticed that when Jack broke Piggy's specs, right? Things started going out of hand, out of control, out of Ralph's control.
And things started getting more into Jack's control.
Yeah, and
They forgot the point of being rescued. And they forgot
it
it.
led to some deaths in the book. Simon.
What about the Beast?
The Beast.
The Beast was actually the Beast was inside them.
Yeah, like the time when Simon was probably listening.
He was listening at the
Or
pig.
maybe they turned into the Beast. Like they feared it so much that they became the Beast.
Yeah, fear itself. I think the Beast
changed
represents fear.
Or it represents what they became. More than
Why do you think all the boys chose Jack over Ralph? Oh, yeah.
Well,
I think it's just because Jack can hunt and he can provide them food and all that.
And everything that he's been saying is pretty promising. He
Yeah.
provided them protection and meat. And
That's true.
That's to Ralph, who
He has
likes-
ideas.
Yeah, he
he
has
has
ideas.
ideas. And he has, Ralph is the most sane person in the book, if you think about it. Well,
He has
Piggy.
times.
Piggy.
He has times. Piggy's
Piggy.
more like a mother figure to the boys.
Yeah,
it's like a grandma.
It's like
Just
Ralph.
to make them take care of the kids, basically.
It's like Ralph and Piggy. They're both kind of a team. They communicate with each other and they come up with ideas. Maybe they should start a fire and they want to be rescued.
And also, people don't want to follow Ralph because, he thinks into the future. And then remember that they're young, so they can't really realize, if we're still with Jack, we're going to be rescued. They pretty much don't know what it means to be rescued.
Ralph is practical, and Piggy, he's the reality that the boys do not want to face. That's
a good one.
Yeah. What really interests me is the sudden friendship between the automatic friendship between Jack and Ralph. That's what interests me the most because what's the symbolism for that?
Whenever politicians are running for office, they pretend they like each other, but in reality, they're just trying to get at each other.
But they really liked each other, genuinely liked each other.
They admired each other's leadership skills.
So it wasn't pretending; they really liked each other.
And then later grew apart.
They grew apart as they saw the differences in how they were treating each other. Because remember,
is that a symbolism of how power can divide friendship and?
Yeah, that is.
Well, power changes people.
Yeah,
a lot.
Power and popularity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember how in our notes we were talking about the the 7 themes? How can we relate them to the book? Can we find some themes that are relatable to the book? Because I can see uses and abuses of power.
I think
because when he ties Wilfred up for pretty much not doing anything, then he wants to hit him.
Uses and abuses of power is an obvious one.
Yeah,
Spirituality and moral codes, because their moral codes start getting all mixed up in the book. They're starting to get more things. The line between right and wrong is getting blurred because of their growing insanity.
Yeah.
Growing insanity.
Running
the fear is making them insane. Yeah.
It's like the
Well,
living.
Does have and have nots also tie
It
into
could be,
this?
but I mean, it could tie in it because
Who
you know
has-
the boys who are not in Jack's group, they're not getting any meat or like you know the proper nutrition.
Right, because they have to hunt for
Yeah.
themselves. They don't have Jack and his choir team to hunt for them.
And haves and have nots, as in like, Jack has all of the boys, basically all of them, and then Ralph has only a few. So the little ones, and then
It could be patterns of
Just
population as well.
patterns of population
Yes.
because there's
Yes.
Ralph to Jack.
And then some of them are
Yeah.
starting to die, so their population is, you know,
Yeah,
decreasing.
the population is starting to decrease.
And they're obviously not increasing in population.
Yeah,
Because, you know,
they're
they're
not.
just boys.
They're just little
They're
boys.
going crazy.
Okay, so who was the real beast in the story?
I'm gonna think it's almost everyone since they're losing their minds in the story.
And it was kind of like each of them had an inner beast. Like the fear of the beast itself was, you know, killing them. That in a certain point it kind of turned them into the beast.
Especially Jack, like even though he seems to show confidence, he's scared of the beast, but then starting to become it.
You know what I found contradicting? That in the beginning of the book, in chapter 1, Jack talks about like, you know, the idea of the beast being like, you know, oblivious in a way, because he said, "Oh, there's not a beast in this island," and I can assure you of that.
But then towards the end of the story, he's saying there is one, and
yeah, that's
he's guaranteeing protection for all.
Well,
of
I
them.
mean, I think that he was just doing that to kind of get, like, you know, the popular vote out of the boys. Because the boys pretty much don't know what's right and wrong because they're really young and they don't have an adult figure who's going to, you know, tell them, hey, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to look for. So they're just kind of looking for someone who's fun and can guarantee them, like, and offer them a lot of things.
And then they lose track of why they want to be rescued.
Who do you think the real leader of the story is and why?
Oh, I think it's Ralph because he has more sense in him. But then everyone's just following Jack because maybe, well, he's guaranteeing fun for all of them.
I think that Jack might be like, you know how we were doing the Cornell notes in Robespierre, who was a dictator and he was torturing people. I think that all that Jack wants to do is get the power so that they can be their slaves. Like, you know, he wants to use the little boys to do things for him. Like, oh, like how they're calling him, hey chief, this and that. I don't find that, like, to be fair to the other boys because he's, like, not doing anything.
And he's bossing them around.
Yeah, well, you know, Ralph wasn't doing anything like that. All he was doing was being kind to them and telling them, this is what's going to happen. This is how I see things. But in you know, Jack's reality, he's, you know, the main person of everything.
Yeah.
So, what do you think is the significance of Piggy's specs?
Well, I think that Piggy's specs kind of represent power in a way, because Piggy's specs gave them the ability to make fire, and fire is kind of really important in this book. And when Jack broke Piggy's specs, things just started getting out of control, like out of their power. Like the power started getting out of control.
Yeah.
Like everything was going wrong for Ralph. Like he was out, like everything was getting out of his control, and Jack was just like taking control.
Yeah, kind of like, yeah. Because Jack, in the very beginning, you know, he did want to take control because, well, they were voting each other. They wanted to know, they wanted to pick a chief. It was between Ralph and Jack, and more people voted for Ralph other than Jack. And you could see on Jack's face that he was disappointed.
That part in the, like, in chapter, I believe it's chapter 10? I believe it's chapter 10, when Jack and his group of hunters went and stole Piggy's glasses. They didn't steal the conch, they stole Piggy's glasses.
Yeah.
Because the glasses somehow represent the power. Like, he forcefully took the power from Ralph. And, when things got out of hand and
Everything,
violence started happening.
and people started to die.
Yeah,
Like,
people started to die. And when the glasses broke, it's like the glasses. And the significance of Piggy wearing those glasses, Piggy, the one that has the glasses, we've talked before about how Piggy is like the reality. He like represents the reality of everything that's going on, and
like no one wants to hear the reality because they're scared of it. They're run by fear.
Yeah. So there's like two different rulers, like two opposing forces, two authority figures, Jack and Ralph. And who's in between? There's always someone in between.
And it's Piggy.
Yeah, it's Piggy.
Yeah, and Jack wants to get rid of that thing that's in between them, which is Piggy.
It's like the glasses in the glass, like the glass in the glasses, like those two eyes is like Jack and Ralph. Kind of.
And the one that breaks, that's Ralph. So then he loses all power, and it goes over to Jack.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love.
So
Wait.
You destroyed my hopes and dreams of happiness.
Okay.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Donut.
Okay, we're good.
There could be a blooper, right?
Yeah.
Wait, are we recording?
Yeah, we're fine.
Oh!